Welcome to the National Vintage League emergency broadcast, broadcasting on all terrestrial channels at 6 p.m. I'm joined by my partner,
former Browns concussed tight end Jordan Cameron.
And as always, I'm New Orleans Saints defensive lineman Cameron Jordan. Hello, Cam.
Hello, Cam.
Today, we're talking about the 1992 NFL draft, the worst draft in history. Ever. 0 Hall of Famers.
Yeah.
So either side of the 1992 NFL draft, you have 1991, where you have 2 Hall of Famers and a potential, and then 1993, you have Michael Strahan, Willie Roaf, Will Shields, Jerome Bettis, John Lynch, Lorenzo Neal.
Oh, you've got cheat notes.
I've got cheat notes.
I'm doing this freestyle. Why was this draft interesting to you? Well, I'll tell you. Top 2 picks held by the same team. First time since 1956, I believe.
1956.
And that was the Indianapolis Colts.
So first up, we got Steve Entman, an absolute beast coming out of Washington, the Washington Huskies. Went undefeated in 1991, and he was heralded as the best player on that team. So he goes to the Indianapolis Colts. What happens? He blows out his right knee, plays another game, blows out his left knee, and then comes back and then blows out a disc in his neck. That's the end of Steve Entman.
That was almost the story of RG3's NFL career.
Second pick. They've got to do better. I mean, they've got the top 2 picks in the draft. They can't keep shanking it.
Yeah.
Quinton Koyat. Yes, Quinton Koyat, the Hall of Famer and player I guarantee you've heard of. Quinton Koyat, the centerpiece of the Texas A&M Aggies defensive unit called the Wrecking Crew. He's only famous for one hit on YouTube, really. Number 3, Los Angeles Rams, Sean Gilbert, uncle of Darrelle Revis.
Really?
That's a little fact for you. And that is it. That's all he did. And then pick number 4, we've actually got someone good. So Washington Redskins.
Fantastic pick at number 4. Who do we have?
Desmond Howard, wide receiver, Michigan.
It was a luxury pick for us. We just won Super Bowl 26, and we already had Art Monk.
He won the Super Bowl in 1996 with the Green Bay Packers. Led the NFL in punt returns, punt return yards, punt return average, and punt return touchdowns. Number 6, Cincinnati Bengals, looking for a quarterback, and they take 2 in this draft. Mr. Jeff Blake, there he is. But first, before Jeff Blake, who did they take? David Klingler. David Klingler. Hall of Fame bound name, if I heard one. Absolute beast at Houston.
Those Klingler jerseys were flying out of...
You can't get them anymore. You just can't get them. David Klingler.
Love a Kling.
4 seasons at Houston, he completed 726 of his 1,262 passes for 9,430 yards. Klingler on his way to the Hall of Fame. 9,430 yards. 91 touchdowns in 4 years.
It's 8 years of college.
Yeah, exactly. Number 7. Miami Dolphins coming in at 7.
We're not doing the whole draft here because this was actually the last 12-round draft.
If the first round is this bad, imagine how bad the 12th round was.
Yeah.
Troy Vincent, defensive back out of Wisconsin, 5-time Pro Bowler, an 11-year career playing for the Dolphins, Eagles, Bills, and Redskins. He was just the only thing to say about him is he was good.
So if you're watching, Troy, well done. You're the first player to get any props so far on this list.
I'll tell you who wasn't good. Atlanta, pick number 8, Bob Whitfield, nicknamed Headbutt Bob. 14-year career in the NFL with the Falcons, Jaguars, and Giants, and his time as a starter was marked by 2 episodes of him losing his cool and headbutting people. So he got called Headbutt Bob by everyone in New York. If you like nicknames, number 9, selected by the Cleveland Browns, Tommy Vardell, running back, Stanford. Nicknamed Touchdown Tommy for scoring 4 touchdowns in 4 attempts, all from the 1-yard line.
From 1 yard. And I think that if any of us given a dozen attempts with a semi-decent offensive line,
we'd knock in about 6.
With Headbutt Bob up there.
With Headbutt Bob,
Headbutt Bob leading the way.
Number 10, Seattle Seahawks. Are they going to pick someone who has any consequential impact on the NFL? Spoiler alert, no they're not. He was rubbish. That's all I've got to say about him. Number 12, Miami Dolphins, Marco Coleman, defensive end, Georgia Tech. Interestingly, finally an interesting fact on this list, which film did Marco Coleman appear in with Jim Carrey?
Oh, Ace Ventura.
Ace Ventura, he's the one running around the track.
Really? That he hits him with the chloroform?
Yeah,
Brilliant.
Marco Coleman. 13, New England Patriots, Eugene Chung.
Oh, classic. Patrick's
Centre.
dad.
Interestingly, not Patrick's dad.
Unbelievable.
Spanner in the works. He was selected again by the Jacksonville Jaguars in the expansion draft. Really desperate for any kind of facts on these players. Number 17, the Dallas Cowboys are taking Kevin Smith, defensive back, Texas A&M. Arguably the greatest defensive back in Texas A&M history and inducted into the Texas A&M Hall of Fame. Was he good in the NFL? No! 19, Atlanta Falcons, Tony Smith, running back from Southern Mississippi. A receiver turned running back, Smish. Fucking Smish. Number 19, Atlanta Falcons, Tony Smith, running back, Southern Mississippi. Interestingly,
Is it though?
Yes, it is actually interesting. When they traded Brett Favre, the Packers, this is the pick.
This was the chip they used.
Number 20, Kansas City Chiefs. Dale Carter, defensive back, Tennessee. 1992 Defensive Player of the Year. 6 seasons in Kansas City, which he shined on the field, but numerous off-the-field problems, which we always love.
What were they?
Carter was suspended for the entire 2000 season due to a 4th substance abuse violation before being released in 2001. Then he played for the Vikings, and then the Saints, and then kept smoking weed, missed the entire 2004 season, due to a blood clot in his lung. Number 21, New Orleans Saints, Vaughn Dunbar, running back, Indiana. One of the first college players to wear reflective shields at running back so the defenders couldn't see where his eyes were looking. Pioneer.
Is that why they do it? I thought it was just to be cool.
Number 22, Chicago Bears, Alonzo Spellman, defensive end, Ohio State. Drafted to be backup to Hall of Famer Richard Dent, and it went pretty well for 5 seasons in Chicago. He refused to leave his publicist's house to the point that police were involved. And the next day, he left a hospital where he was sectioned without shirt or shoes, and it was freezing. There you have it. Number 23, San Diego Chargers, Chris Mims, defensive tackle, Tennessee. He's the 5th member of the 1994 San Diego Chargers Super Bowl team to die young.
Oh my god, why are these facts so morbid?
Because that's all you have, is like players who did nothing and then how they died.
Alright.
During his final years, Mims was unable to take care of himself, and he lives on... For fuck's sake!
After tragically killing his entire family, Mims... What the fuck is this?
These are the facts. This is why you follow us, for these facts. Number 24, the Dallas Cowboys. Robert Jones, linebacker, East Carolina. Robert Jones, father of Buffalo Bills receiver. Zay Jones. I've just got Zay Jones' dad in capital letters there. Pick number 25, Denver Broncos, Tommy Maddox. Remember him?
Yeah.
Broncos took Maddox in the first round of the 1992 draft, thinking, okay, well, he can replace John Elway, and he was rubbish. In 1994, the Broncos traded Maddox to the Rams, and then he would join the Giants, Jags, and Falcons. After being released by the Falcons in 1997, Maddox became an insurance agent.
Where he tragically died.
But no, he comes back. He comes back from the dead. He's got his insurance firm. The phone rings. It's the XFL. Tommy, we need you to come and play for the New Jersey Red Dogs. Hangs up the phone. Sell this insurance company. Played awfully. The Los Angeles Extreme comes sniffing around. Tommy, do you want to play for your 500th NFL or XFL team? Yes, please. Led the Los Angeles Extreme to the what they called the $1 Million Game, because they couldn't call it the Super Bowl or any kind of bowl.
It's got to be a better name than that.
Also known as the big game at the end.
There you go. That's all that was perfect.
Maddox was named the XFL MVP in 2001, and then the XFL folded. Later that year, Tommy Maddox signed for the Pittsburgh Steelers. Tommy's back. In the backup role, Maddox gets a Super Bowl ring. How are you going to top that? Number 27, Buffalo Bills, Josh Fina, depending on where you're from. 11 years in the league. You like niche facts?
Yes.
Fina appeared on Travel Channel's show Food Wars as one of the guest judges. Food War was over the Sonoran hot dog and was between BK's Carne Asada hot dogs and El Guero Canelo. Who won? I'll tell you who won. BK's won the Food War by a score of 4-1, with Fina voting for BK's. There you go, information. Darrell Williams, defensive back, Miami. Pro Bowl in 1997, played for 10 years. That's it. That's all he did. Other players of note. No, we're not finished. Carl Pickens, round 2, pick 31. Do you know what he's famous for? First recipient of the Pickens clause, named after him, that you can put in a contract, which has been put in lots of contracts since, whereas essentially you can't badmouth your team in public. Round 2, pick 36, Jimmy Smith.
Brilliant.
The Jacksonville Jaguars, Jimmy Smith, drafted by the Cowboys, and then he got appendicitis and they were just dicks to him, basically. So he started complaining of stomach pain, and the coaches were like, nah, it's fine, you go on, don't play, mate. And then he played, and then his appendix exploded, and then the Cowboys were like, we're not going to pay you. And then he was like, yes, you are. So he sued them, and then the Cowboys asked him to take a pay cut. He refused to do that, and then he became a free agent. Tom Coughlin of Jacksonville Jaguars says, I like you. No appendix means speed. That's how that works. So they got Jimmy Smith in, Thunder and Lightning, Keenan McCardell, and the rest, as they say, is very interesting history. Round 6, pick 157, Mark Chmura, Schmeurer, your boy Mark, just behind me there. Drafted in the 6th round of the 1992 draft, played for the Packers from 1992 to 1999. After winning the Super Bowl, Mark Schmeurer chose not to meet with United States President Bill Clinton. Some say because he was a staunch Republican, but he says because he was playing in the annual Mike Utley Golf Tournament. The tournament is something Schmeurer played in every year since 1992 to honour former Detroit Lion Mike Utley, who was paralysed on the field.
So he missed the White House to play golf.
He did.
Basically Trump.
Round 6, pick 166, Jeff Blake,
Hey!
Cincinnati Bengals. Played everywhere. Jets, Bengals, Saints, Ravens, Cardinals, Eagles. Pro Bowl in 1995.
Yeah, after he dispatched first round Klingler.
David Klingler! Bring back Klingler! Sized up David Klingler the day he got in the building. Blake's best season came in the mid to late 90s when he was often referred to as Shaken Blake. He established a great rapport with Carl Pickens, who due to his contract, couldn't say how much he hated Jeff Blake and the Bengals. Round 9, pick 277, Brad Johnson, Tampa Bay legend. Brad Johnson, journeyman, dink and dunk, check down Charlie, legends. Played for the Vikings, Redskins, yes, Buccaneers, Cowboys, and interestingly, first player ever, up till Marco Mariota recently, to complete a touchdown pass to himself. He does it all! He does it all! I don't know if you know this, January 21st, 2015,
Probably not.
Brad Johnson admitted to deflating balls in the Super Bowl. But interestingly, Rich Gannon, the Raiders quarterback, at the same time came out and said, we agreed on it. So they agreed to do that, and then Brad went home with a Lombardi. This is why you're here, for these kind of facts. Well, ladies and gentlemen, that was perhaps the most scintillating report we've ever done. And we want to remind you to stay indoors, don't touch anything, don't say hello to your grandparents, stay indoors. We'll be back soon with the National Vintage League emergency broadcast, reminding you to stay indoors, don't touch anything, but love each other.
Wash your hands.
And wash your hands. There we go, I'm sure there's something in that.